What happens when one of Hollywood's most respected actresses comes face to face with a talk show host who refuses to show even basic respect? Today, we're breaking down the explosive on-air confrontation that ended with Kate Winslet walking off the set and Joy Behar left visibly stunned. This isn't just celebrity drama. It's a story about professional boundaries, personal dignity, and what happens when those lines are crossed in front of millions. Make sure to subscribe and tell me in the comments where you stand on how this situation unfolded. From the moment Kate Winslet stepped onto the View set, the tension was unmistakable. Fresh off a critically acclaimed performance, she was there for what should have been a routine promotional interview. No one expected the conversation to spiral so quickly or so publicly out of control. "Welcome back to The View," Whoopi Goldberg announced with her signature warmth. We're joined today by the incredibly talented Kate Winslet, starring in what critics are calling one of the most powerful performances of her career. Kate took her seat, composed and confident, the same grace that had defined her decades-long career. "Thank you for having me, Whoopi. It's always wonderful to be here." The interview began smoothly. Sarah Haynes asked thoughtful questions about Kate's preparation for the role. Sunny Hostin praised the film's deeper social message. Kate spoke passionately about her craft, her words reflecting the experience that earned her an Academy Award. Then Joy Behar leaned forward, wearing that familiar smirk longtime viewers recognized as a warning sign. "So, Kate," Joy began, her tone coated in false sweetness. "You've been in Hollywood, 30 years now, and you're still playing romantic leads. Don't you think it's time to accept that those roles might be behind you?" The studio went silent. Kate's smile flickered, just for a moment, before she steadied herself. "I'm sorry, Joy," she said calmly. "I'm not quite sure what you mean." "Oh, come on," Joy waved dismissively. "You're not getting any younger. Shouldn't you be transitioning into more age-appropriate roles, mothers, grandmothers, instead of competing with actresses half your age?" Whoopi shifted in her seat, sensing the interview veering off course. "Joy, I think—" "No, let me finish," Joy snapped, cutting her off. "I'm just saying what everyone's thinking. There's something almost desperate about older actresses clinging to roles meant for women in their 20s and 30s. It's not a good look, Kate." The color drained from Kate's face, but her voice remained steady. "Joy, there seems to be a misunderstanding," she replied. "The character I'm portraying is a woman in her 40s dealing with very adult, very real themes. This isn't about age, it's about telling meaningful stories." Joy laughed harshly. "Meaningful stories? Please, you're playing dress up, pretending to be someone you're not anymore. There's a difference between acting and delusion." "Delusion?" Kate repeated softly. The hurt in her eyes was impossible to miss. "That's enough," Whoopi said firmly. But Joy wasn't done. "I'm not trying to be cruel," Joy insisted, despite sounding exactly that. "Hollywood refuses to let women age gracefully. And when actresses like you take these inappropriate roles, you become part of the problem." Kate took a slow breath, her hands clasped tightly in her lap. "Joy," she said carefully, "I'm genuinely taken aback by this line of questioning. I came here to discuss a film about resilience, identity, and human connection. The age of my character is irrelevant to the story." "Is it?" Joy pressed. "Because from where I'm sitting, it looks like Hollywood selling us another fantasy, that women over 40 can still be leading ladies. That's just not realistic." The cameras caught every micro-expression on Kate's face as she processed what she was hearing. One of the most accomplished actresses of her generation, being told she was too old to do her job. Then Kate spoke again, her British accent sharpening with emotion. "Joy, may I ask you something? Would you ever say this to a male actor? Would you tell George Clooney or Brad Pitt that they're too old for romantic roles?" Joy scoffed. "That's completely different, and you know it," Joy snapped. "How is it different?" Kate asked, leaning forward slightly, her eyes locked on Joy. "Tell me, how is it different, Joy?" Joy didn't hesitate. "Men age differently. They become distinguished. Women, we just get old, that's reality." The studio fell into absolute silence. You could hear a pin drop. Even the crew behind the cameras froze, transfixed by the train wreck unfolding in real time. Kate stared at Joy for a long moment, her expression unreadable. When she finally spoke, her voice was calm, but there was fire burning beneath it. That is one of the most archaic, sexist things I've heard in a very long time, Kate said evenly. And coming from a woman, it's especially disappointing. Oh, please, Joy scoffed, rolling her eyes. Don't lecture me about sexism. I've been fighting that battle longer than you've been alive. Then why are you perpetuating it? Kate shot back, her composure beginning to crack. Why are you sitting here telling me that my value as an actress expires at a certain age? Why are you reducing 3 decades of my work to whether or not I look young enough to matter? Joy's face flushed. I never said anything about desirability. I'm talking about realism. No, Kate replied, her voice rising just slightly. You're talking about ageism and sexism, and you're doing it on national television, while I'm sitting right here. The tension in the room was thick enough to cut with a knife. Whoopi glanced nervously between her co-host and her guest, clearly searching for a way to salvage what had become a full-blown disaster. You know what? Joy said, throwing her hands up. If you can't handle honest criticism about your career choices, maybe you shouldn't be doing interviews. Kate's eyes widened in disbelief. Honest criticism. Joy, she continued, her voice steady but sharp. You've spent the last 10 minutes attacking me personally and professionally for no reason. This isn't criticism. It's cruelty. Cruelty. Joy laughed bitterly. That's rich coming from someone who lives in a bubble of privilege. You think a little honesty is cruel. Try living in the real world, sweetheart. Kate's jaw dropped. Sweetheart, she repeated quietly. Did you just call me sweetheart? Yes, I did, Joy replied defiantly. Because you're acting like a spoiled child who can't handle the truth. The other host looked horrified. Sarah Haynes tried to step in. No, Kate said firmly, raising her hand without breaking eye contact. I want to hear this. Please explain, Joy. What truth do you think you're delivering? Joy leaned back, a smug smile spreading across her face. The truth is Hollywood is obsessed with youth, and instead of fighting that system, you're enabling it. You're taking roles away from younger actresses who could actually bring authenticity to those parts. Taking roles away, Kate repeated incredulously. Joy, do you even understand how casting works? Do you think I'm out there stealing scripts from 25-year-olds? I think you're making choices that feed a toxic system, Joy shot back. And, when someone calls it out, you cry sexism instead of taking responsibility. Kate's composure was hanging by a thread. Let me get this straight, she said slowly. You're saying that I, as a woman, am responsible for Hollywood's ageism simply because I continue to work. I'm saying you could use your platform to advocate for better representation. Joy replied coolly, instead of taking whatever role pays the most. The accusation hung in the air like a poisonous cloud. Whatever role pays the most, Kate repeated, her voice dropping to a dangerous calm. Joy, do you have any idea what you're talking about? I know you're not hurting for money. Joy snapped back. So why not be more selective? Why not leave some roles for actresses who actually need them? Whoopi finally tried to intervene. Joy, I really think we need to. No, Kate said firmly, never breaking her stare. I want to address this. She leaned forward slightly. Joy, since you seem to know so much about my career, let me educate you. The film we're actually here to discuss today, Kate continued, her voice steady but firm, is one I took a significant pay cut to make because I believed in the story. The director is a first-time female filmmaker, and more than half the crew were women under 30. But please, tell me again how I'm supposedly hurting other women. Joy's expression faltered for just a second, but she pushed forward anyway. One film doesn't erase decades of questionable choices. Questionable choices. Kate repeated, her voice growing stronger. Joy, I've spent my entire career choosing projects that challenge me as an artist and tell meaningful stories. I've worked with female directors, supported independent films, and used whatever influence I have to create opportunities for others. And what exactly have you done? Kate asked pointedly. I don't need to justify my career to you. Joy snapped. No, Kate replied calmly. But you seem to think I need to justify mine to you. You've spent this entire interview attacking my age, my choices, and my character. For what? What's the point of this? Joy's face reddened, The point is that someone needs to have these conversations. Someone needs to call out the hypocrisy. What hypocrisy? Kate demanded. Please explain to me where the hypocrisy lies in an actress continuing to act. The hypocrisy? Joy shot back. It's pretending that age doesn't matter when it clearly does. You can't play a college student anymore, Kate. Accept it. Kate let out a short, humorless laugh. A college student, she repeated. Joy, when was the last time you actually watched one of my films? Because I haven't played a college student in over 20 years. You know what I mean? Joy said dismissively. No, I really don't, Kate replied. Because everything you've said today is based on assumptions and stereotypes, not facts. You haven't asked me about my craft, my preparation, or the themes of this film. You've just attacked me personally. The studio audience, silent until now, began to murmur. The discomfort in the room was unmistakable. I'm not attacking you, Joy insisted. I'm having a real conversation about real issues. Real issues? Kate's voice rose. The real issue is that you invited me onto this show under the pretense of discussing my work, and instead, you've spent the entire time trying to tear me down. That's not journalism. That's not entertainment, that's just mean-spirited. Mean-spirited? Joy scoffed. You're being overly sensitive. This is how interviews work. No, Kate said firmly. This is not how interviews work. This is how bullies work. You've been condescending, dismissive, and outright rude from the moment you opened your mouth. Joy's eyes flashed. Excuse me, did you just call me a bully? If the shoe fits, Kate replied without hesitation. The tension snapped. Joy's face turned crimson, her voice rising. You have a lot of nerve coming onto my show and insulting me like this. Your show? Kate raised an eyebrow. I thought this was The View, not the Joy Behar show. And I'm not insulting you, I'm responding to your behavior. My behavior has been perfectly professional. Joy protested. Professional? Kate said incredulously. You called me sweetheart, questioned my intelligence, attacked my career choices, and suggested I'm too old to do my job. In what universe is that professional? The other host shifted uncomfortably. Sunny Hostin tried to step in. No, Kate said, cutting through the interruption. I want to finish. She took a breath, her voice controlled but unmistakably hurt. I came here today excited to talk about a project I'm deeply passionate about. Instead, I've been subjected to what can only be described as a character assassination. Why? What did I do to deserve this? Joy's response was instant and revealing. You didn't do anything. This is just how television works. If you can't handle the heat, don't do interviews. Kate stared at her, stunned. So this was intentional, Kate said slowly. You deliberately set out to make this as unpleasant as possible. I set out to have an honest conversation, Joy replied flatly. If that made you uncomfortable, that's not my problem. Honest. Kate's voice rose again. Joy, there has been nothing honest about this. You've been cruel, unprofessional, and frankly embarrassing to watch. Embarrassing. Joy's voice shot up. You're the one having a meltdown on live television because you can't handle a few tough questions. Tough questions. Kate's eyes burned. Asking about my process, my inspiration, or my collaboration with the director would be tough questions. What you've done is launch a personal attack disguised as an interview. Oh, please? Joy waved dismissively. You Hollywood types are all the same. You expect everyone to worship you. Worship you. Kate's voice dropped to a deadly calm. Joy, I expected basic human decency. I expected the same respect you'd give any other guest. Clearly, that was too much to ask. Joy leaned forward aggressively. You know what your problem is, Kate? You've been surrounded by yes men for so long, you can't handle anyone who doesn't praise you. My problem. Kate suddenly stood, her chair scraping loudly against the floor. My problem is sitting right across from me. You've been hostile, condescending, and unprofessional from the moment I sat down. Sit down, Joy barked. We're not finished. Kate looked down at her, cold and unflinching. Oh, we're absolutely finished. She took a breath. I don't know what kind of show you think you're running, Joy, but this isn't journalism. It's not entertainment. It's cruelty for the sake of cruelty. You're being ridiculous, Joy snapped. This is exactly the kind of prima donna behavior I was talking about. Prima donna. Kate's voice carried across the studio. I've sat here for 20 minutes while you insulted my age, my career, my intelligence, and my character. I responded with more patience than you deserved. If standing up for myself makes me a prima donna, so be it. Whoopi stood, trying to intervene. Ladies, let's take a breath. No, Whoopi, Kate said, never breaking eye contact with Joy. I want everyone to understand what just happened. I came on this show in good faith to discuss my work. Instead, I was ambushed by someone with a personal agenda. Personal agenda. Joy jumped to her feet. You think this is personal? Then explain it. Kate challenged, because I can't think of another reason you'd treat a guest this way. What did I ever do to you? You didn't do anything? Joy shouted. But someone needs to hold you people accountable. You people. Kate's eyebrows rose. Who exactly are you people, Joy? Entitled celebrities who think they're above criticism. Joy spat. Kate shook her head slowly. This wasn't criticism. This was a hit job, and the fact that you can't tell the difference says everything about your character. My character. Joy was nearly screaming. You don't know anything about my character. I know enough. Kate replied coolly. I know you think it's acceptable to humiliate guests on national television. I know you think ageism and sexism are journalism, and I know that when you're called out, you double down instead of showing even a shred of professionalism or humanity. The studio erupted into chaos. Producers waved frantically from behind the cameras. The other hosts looked mortified. How dare you lecture me about professionalism? Joy shouted. I've been doing this job since before you were famous. Then you should know better, Kate said quietly. Experience isn't an excuse for bad behavior. If anything, it makes this worse. Get out! Joy suddenly screamed. Just get out! Kate stared at her for a moment, then calmly removed her microphone. You know what, Joy? You're right, Kate said evenly. I can't handle this. I can't handle watching a grown woman throw a tantrum because she's been held accountable. I'm not throwing a tantrum. Joy shrieked, proving Kate's point. This exchange will be seen by millions, Kate said, placing the mic on the table, and they'll see exactly who you are when challenged, abusive, hostile, and out of control. I am not abusive, Joy yelled. Kate turned to the cameras. I want to apologize to everyone watching. You tuned in expecting a conversation about art, storytelling, and creativity. Instead, you witnessed something ugly. That's not your fault, and it's not what you deserved. She turned back to Joy one final time. And Joy, I genuinely hope you get the help you need, because this behavior isn't normal. It isn't professional, and it isn't acceptable. Don't you dare psychoanalyze me, Joy screamed. Kate paused at the edge of the set. I'm not psychoanalyzing you. I'm stating what everyone can see. You're out of control. I am in complete control, Joy bellowed. Kate shook her head sadly. No, Joy. You really aren't. And with that, Kate Winslet walked off the View set, leaving behind a stunned audience, and a host still shouting into the void. Whoopi struggled to regain control. We'll be right back after this commercial break, she said, her voice unsteady. As the cameras continued rolling, capturing Joy ranting to herself, one thing was clear: something unprecedented had just happened. Not a film promotion, but a moment that exposed what happens when professionalism collides with its complete opposite. So what do you think? Was Kate right to walk out, or should she have stayed? Let me know in the comments.